Welcome everyone. In today's lecture, we will discuss the next topic which comes in photosynthesis, that is 13.3, where does photosynthesis takes place. In the previous two lectures, we discussed about the historical background, means who told that carbon dioxide is required for photosynthesis, who told that photosynthesis takes place inside the chloroplast, all that we discussed in the previous lectures. Now in today's lecture, we will see where does photosynthesis takes place. Come on, think, where does photosynthesis takes place? Is it root or stem or leaf? We tell leaf is a food factory. Why? Because there photosynthesis will occur. So what is the answer here? Where does photosynthesis takes place? It is the green leaf, right? The green leaf is the area where photosynthesis takes place. Now, if we see the anatomy of the leaf, now this is the adaxial epidermis, this is the abaxial epidermis, and these are the epidermal cells. And if we have to draw the stomata, yes, these are the stomata. Guard cells, and at the center, vascular bundle will be there, xylem will be there, phloem patch, and these are the xylem elements, right? So xylem and phloem, this is vascular bundle. Now the middle space of the leaf is called as mesophyll. The middle space of the leaf, this is the anatomy of the leaf. This entire region is called as mesophyll. Now this mesophyll contains mesophyll cells. The mesophyll contains mesophyll cells. Now if it is a dicot leaf, these are specialized mesophyll cells. They are palisade parenchyma cells. And below this palisade parenchyma, we have spongy parenchyma. So these are loosely arranged spongy parenchyma. So children, this is the anatomy of the leaf. So this is upper epidermis and this is the lower epidermis. So this is one vascular bundle, and this region is called as mesophyll. In the mesophyll cells are there. Now this is one type of parenchyma. It is called palisade parenchyma. Palisade parenchyma cells. Whereas this is called spongy parenchyma. Right, this is called spongy parenchyma. Inside these mesophyll cells, altogether these cells are called, we can tell they are mesophyll cells. They are mesophyll cells. Now inside the mesophyll cells are the chloroplasts. Inside the mesophyll cells, chloroplast will be there. So these are the chloroplast what we are drawing. So each mesophyll cell contains many chloroplasts. All these dots what we are drawing are the chloroplasts, right children? So all this are the chloroplasts. Where are they present? So chloroplasts, they keep moving depending upon the light intensity. So these are the mesophyll cells, and these dots represents the chloroplast, right? So we understood that photosynthesis takes place in the green leaf, and in the leaf there are some specialized cells which are called as mesophyll cells. In the mesophyll cells, in these mesophyll cells, what are these structures called? Chloroplasts. Now one enlarged view of chloroplast they have given us in NCERT. This we will discuss. So in the green leaf, in the chloroplast cells, in the mesophyll cells, photosynthesis will occur. So now we came to a conclusion that the organ where photosynthesis takes place is the leaf. Now in the leaf, which region? Mesophyll region. What cells? Mesophyll cells. What organelle of the mesophyll cells means chloroplast. Now what are chloroplasts? Chloroplasts are green plastids which functions as the sites of photosynthesis. Our answer for this question is it takes place in the green leaf. Green leaf contains chloroplast. And what are chloroplasts? Chloroplasts are green plastids. Chloroplasts are green plastids which function as the sites of photosynthesis. Which function as sites of photosynthesis. This is the structure. When we enlarge it, this is the picture. This is the area where photosynthesis will occur, right? So the mesophyll cells, inside one mesophyll cells, how many dots I kept? As many dots as possible I kept. Means leaves will have mesophyll cells. Mesophyll cells will have maximum number of chloroplasts. The leaf have mesophyll cells. The leaves will have mesophyll cells, and mesophyll cells will have maximum number, many number of chloroplasts. Mesophyll cells have many number of chloroplasts. Now if we have to just take a numerical to tell that how many chloroplasts are there, means 500,000 chloroplasts will be there in 1 square millimeter area of the leaf. In 1 square millimeter area of the leaf, 500,000 chloroplasts are there. So remember this, it is important. We can tell that 500,000 chloroplasts. 500,000 chloroplasts are there per square millimeter area of the leaf. So how many they are there, that's why it can do photosynthesis very much efficiently. And I told you, usually the mesophyll cells will have chloroplasts which are present at the surface on their walls. Why are the chloroplasts present near to the walls? Means so that they can trap as much sunlight as possible. So sunlight, if it is here, it can strike, right? Directly it can strike. Instead of chloroplasts being inside, if the chloroplasts are present adjacent to the walls of the mesophyll cells, so that they can absorb the sunlight in a better manner, right? In NCERT they have asked you a question. So when the chloroplasts are able to move, take a screenshot, we will discuss. Right children, so I can chloroplasts, they move along with the light intensities. So in NCERT they have asked a question, when will the chloroplast be parallel to the incident light and when will the chloroplast be perpendicular to the incident light? Let us see that first. Okay, so we will draw one mesophyll cell here, and similarly we'll draw another mesophyll cell here, and then the light intensity to the mesophyll cell will be like this. We're drawing 2 arrows here, means it is low light intensity. It is low light, and let us show here many arrows telling that highlight intensity. This is highlight intensity. At low light intensity, to trap as much as light possible, the chloroplast will be horizontally arranged. The chloroplast will be horizontally arranged and they will be in this manner. They are arranged. So how are they? They are horizontal. They show horizontal arrangement, and to the incident light they are perpendicular. See, this is the incident light. To the incident light they are perpendicularly arranged. So to the incident light, chloroplasts are arranged perpendicular. Why are they arranged perpendicular? Why are they arranged towards the walls? Means to trap as much as light as possible. What is this condition called? This condition is called epistrophe. What is this condition called? This condition is called epistrophe condition, right children? It is called epistrophe condition. Now when the intensity of light is very high, see, in dark we cannot see anything. That means light is required for us to see any object. Thinking that light is required for us for vision, can we directly look into the sunlight? Try doing this. Directly look into the sunlight, it becomes blank and we cannot see anything. So in the same manner, so at highlight intensities, if the chloroplasts are in the same manner, if they are placed here, the way they are placed here, if they are placed here, now the pigments which are present in the chloroplast might get damaged. So that is why at very highlight intensity, the chloroplast will move away from these areas and they are arranged vertically. They are arranged vertically and they are parallel to the light intensities. So this is a light ray. To to the light ray, they are arranged, means they are parallel. So here they are horizontally placed, here they are vertically arranged. They are vertically arranged and they are parallel to the incident light. Here they are perpendicular to the incident light. Here the chloroplasts align parallel to the incident light. They align parallel to the incident light. Why? To prevent solarization or photooxidation. Why are they moving off? Why are they moving off from the wall? Why are they arranged on the lateral walls? So they move to lateral walls. They are moving off to the lateral walls to prevent solarization. What do you mean by solarization? It is called photooxidation. To prevent solarization, photooxidation, to prevent damage, they are moving off from the highlight intensities. So what is this condition called? This is called parastrophe condition. If this condition is called epistrophe condition, this condition is called parastrophe condition. Understood, children? Understood? NCERT, they have asked us a question. This is the explanation for that. So to trap the sunlight at low light intensities, they will be parallel to these walls. They will be parallel to these walls. We tell these walls are horizontal walls and they are horizontally arranged. Whereas at highlight intensities, they are parallel to the lateral walls and they are longitudinal. They are parallel to the light intensity also. This condition is called epistrophe condition. This condition is called parastrophe condition. Take a screenshot. We will continue. Now let us talk about the structure of the chloroplast. See the picture and tell me, chloroplast, is it a single membrane structure or is it a double membrane structure? The picture is very clear. You can see that there are two membranes, outer membrane and inner membrane. So we can tell that chloroplasts, now plant chloroplasts are disc-shaped structures. They are disc-shaped structures. Now it is having two membranes, right? It is a double membrane structure. Chloroplast is a double membrane structure. It's not like mitochondria, one membrane is smooth and another membrane has foldings. In chloroplast, you can see both the membranes are smooth and they are plain only. So both the membranes are smooth. Both the membranes are smooth and each membrane has a thickness of 9 to 10 nanometers thickness. Each membrane, what's the thickness of each membrane? Each membrane shows 9 to 10 nanometers thickness. And in between these two, there is a space. This space is called as periplastidal space. Now, what's the diameter of this periplastidal space? 10 to 20 nanometers. So, between the two membranes, is periplastidal space. Now, what is the dimension of the periplastidal space? It is 10 to 20 nanometers in diameter. The space here, this space is 10 to 20 nanometers in diameter and the thickness of each membrane is 9 to 10 nanometers thickness it is. Understood, children? So, we tell chloroplast is a double membrane structure, plant chloroplast is a disc-shaped structure, and if you go inside, there are certain membranous structures and there is a fluid part. The fluid part is called stroma. So inside the chloroplast, what can we find? There are membranous structures. What are the membranous structures called? They are called thylakoid membranes. Those membranous structures are called thylakoid membranes, and there is a fluid matrix here which is called as stroma. So there is a fluid matrix inside, which is called as stroma. So inside the chloroplast we find a fluid matrix which is called stroma, and there are thylakoid membranes. All these are thylakoid membranes, right? So these thylakoid membranes, if they are stocked on one top of each other, this network is called as grana. So thylakoid membranes, if they are stocked like coins, then it will form an association called grana. If thylakoid membranes are piled on one, this is one thylakoid membrane, disc-like thylakoid membranes, if they have piled on one top of each other, then this complete structure is called as grana. It's called as grana. Each chloroplast can contain 10 to 50 granas. Each chloroplast contains 10 to 50 granas. Right? And granum is a plural form. Grana. It is the plural form. And then this piling up structure is called as grana. And these interconnecting structures, this is one grana, this is another grana, another grana, another grana. They are interconnected by these. What are these called? They are called stroma lamellae. So grana is connected. It is connected to the next grana by a bridge, another membrane. What is this called? It is called stroma lamellae. This is called stroma lamellae. So the thylakoid membranes, if they are interconnecting, that's called a stroma lamellae. And if it is piled up disc-like, if it is making a stalk-like structure, then that is called grana. And this is a inner matrix which is called as stroma. So take a screenshot, we will continue. Right, so when we have to talk about the stroma, so many things we can see inside the stroma, right? We tell that chloroplast is a place where photosynthesis will occur. Chloroplast is a place where photosynthesis will occur. And let us talk about stroma, then we will talk about the process of photosynthesis. Stroma is the fluid filled matrix. Here inside the stroma you can see mitochondria and chloroplast are semi-autonomous organelles. They have their own DNA. The DNA of mitochondria and chloroplast is naked. It is circular double-stranded DNA molecule. That's what I draw here. So the stroma has circular naked double-stranded DNA. Double-stranded DNA, right? And it has RNA also. In the stroma, DNA is there. In the stroma, RNA is there. And they have 70S type of ribosomes. They have 70S type of ribosomes we can see. So this is a circular double-stranded DNA. These are 70S type of ribosomes, and here the food is prepared and the food is stored as starch granules, sac stored. The food is stored as starch granules. These are starch granules, and excess reserve is oil droplets. So these are oil droplets, lipid droplets present in the stroma only. So the stroma contains double-stranded DNA. The stroma also contains RNA. The stroma contains 70S type of ribosomes, and what else it contains? It contains the reserve food material as starch granules, and it contains fat droplets. It also contains fat droplets. All these structures are present inside the stroma only. Now, since it is having its own DNA, since it is having its own ribosomes, it can do its own protein synthesis. We are calling chloroplast as well as mitochondria as semi-autonomous organelles. And we tell that chloroplast shows clear division of labor. chloroplast shows clear division of labor, and we know that photosynthesis is biphasic, means there is light phase and dark phase, right? So photosynthesis has two phases. The first phase is called light phase. The second phase is called dark phase. Where will photosynthesis occur? It occurs in the leaf. In the leaf where? In the mesophyll cells. In the mesophyll cell where? In the chloroplast. In the chloroplast where? So we came to know that photosynthesis is having two steps, light phase and dark phase. So where will light phase happen? Here. And where will dark phase happen? So these thylakoid membranes are called grana, whereas the fluid matrix is called stroma. Amma, light phase or the light reaction occurs in the grana. The light phase or the light reaction. The light reaction occurs in grana, whereas the dark reaction occurs in the stroma. Dark reaction occurs in stroma. That is why we are telling that they have distributed their works. Grana will do the light reaction, stroma will do the dark reaction. What do you mean by light reaction? If we draw one granum, so this is a thylakoid membrane. The inner space is called as lumen. On the thylakoid membrane are the pigments, chlorophyll A, chlorophyll B, carotenoids, xanthophylls, pigments will be there, and we know what is the role of the pigment. Pigment is the one which trap the sunlight. So that means what happens in light reaction? In light reaction, so in light reaction, light is absorbed. Light is absorbed, and that light is converted to physical energy. We know is converted to chemical energy. Sunlight energy, photon energy is converted to chemical energy. What is chemical energy? ATP is direct energy and NADPHH plus is a reduced energy. The sunlight energy is absorbed by these pigments present on the grana thylakoid membrane, and they convert that energy into ATP and NADP. So that is why can we call light reaction as photochemical reaction? Photon energy is converted to chemical energy. So we can tell light reaction is also called photochemical reaction. Since photon energy is converted to chemical energy, it's called photochemical reaction. It occurs on the grana. Now we told dark reaction happens in the stroma. That means the ATP and NADP which are present in the which are made in the light reaction will be used to convert carbon dioxide into carbohydrate, to fix the carbon dioxide into carbohydrate, right? So in dark phase what happens? In dark phase ATP and NADPH are used to convert carbon dioxide to carbohydrate. ATP and NADP are used to convert carbon dioxide to carbohydrate, right? So that means this is called photochemical reaction, and that is called biochemical reaction. Dark phase is called biochemical reaction, or we can call it as biosynthetic phase. It is called biosynthetic phase. We are synthesizing food there. That is why it is called biosynthetic phase. And this phase is mediated by enzymes. C3 cycle, C4 cycle. It is mediated by enzymes. So since here light is absorbed, we are calling these reactions as light dependent reactions or light reactions. The reactions which are occurring in the grana, they are taking the sunlight, so that's why they are light dependent reactions. So these reactions are light dependent reactions. That is why they are called as light reactions. Whereas in dark reactions, is light required? Is light required? Is there any pigment here in the stroma? Is there any pigment in the stroma which can absorb the light? No, right? So what is happening in the stroma? That ATP and NADP HH+ which are produced here by absorbing the light are used to fix the carbon dioxide into carbohydrate, to convert the carbon dioxide into carbohydrate. So that means dark reaction doesn't depend on the light, but it depends on the products of the light reaction. So dark reaction do not depend on light. Light is not required here, but it depends on the products of light reaction. It depends on the products of the light reaction. It does not depend on the light. So that is why, in order to differentiate, we are calling it as a dark reaction. Don't think that dark reaction means that occurs at the night time when sunlight is not there. It's not like that. So light reaction, dark reaction, light reaction, dark reaction, simultaneously they will occur. But since the dark reaction doesn't require light, because pigments are not there in the stroma, they are not going to absorb the light, so that is why, and that too it uses the products of the light reaction, so it is light independent reaction. It depends on the products of the light reaction. Understood, children? So take a screenshot, we will continue. Right, so we were talking everything about chloroplast. Where does photosynthesis takes place? On the green parts of the leaf. What does the green part of the leaf contains? They contains mesophyll cells. Mesophyll cells, what do they contain? Chloroplast. What's the shape of the chloroplast? The shape of the chloroplast is a disc shaped structure, double membrane structure. It contains membranes inside, which are called thylakoid membranes. If the thylakoid membranes are piled up, that is called grana. One grana is connected to the other grana by stroma lamellae, and the fluid filled space is called, what is the fluid filled space called? Stroma. Where will the light reaction happen? Light reaction means where the sunlight is absorbed, sunlight energy, solar energy is converted to ATP and NADP. It happens in the grana, right? And where does the dark reaction happen? Dark reactions happens in this stroma, right? And again, we'll see in detail that there are two types of plants, C3 plants and C4 plants. In C4 plants, two types of chloroplasts are there. So they're called granule chloroplast and agranule chloroplast. Means there is one type of chloroplast in which this grana is absent. They are called agranule chloroplast. So in C4 plants, we can tell, we will understand it when we go further and we check the details clearly. So now we can just tell that two types of chloroplasts are seen where in C4 plants. Presence of two types of chloroplasts is called as chloroplast dimorphism. Presence of two types of chloroplast is called as chloroplast dimorphism, right? So what are the two types of chloroplast? One is, as usual, it is called granule chloroplast, which is having grana. The other one is called agranule chloroplast. One is granule chloroplast, other one is agranule chloroplast. Where do we find such type of chloroplast? In C4 plants. What are C4 plants? Details we will discuss in the coming sections. So I think you understood the point. 13.3, where does photosynthesis occurs? This is the place where photosynthesis occurs. In the next lecture, we will talk about the pigments. What are the pigments which are present in the higher plants? Chlorophyll A is there, chlorophyll B is there, xanthophyll is there, carotenoid are there. So we will discuss that in detail in the next lectures. If you like the content, like, share, subscribe to my channel. Thank you.